up. And dude, the way I got started in the insurance business is it revolves around convention, dude. So I can't wait to get into that right there too, because it's so powerful like that, like what a convention can do for an agent.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, let's go ahead and get a clean cut here for my marketing girl. She'll be happy if I do a nice intro for us. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Living Hope Agency Call. I couldn't be more excited for our special guest, Mr. Marco Trujillo. Marco, he has built up an agency, FFL Supreme, up to over 500 families a month. Marco, what's the most families your agency's ever helped in a month?
It was last month we did just shy with, I mean, with ethos it'll be 700, but without ethos it's just shy of it.
Okay. Awesome, man. So 700 families in a month, and Marco has been interviewed on a handful of agency manager calls hosted by Sean Mike, our integrity call, basically being touted as somebody who has built an agency to a very profitable level. Okay. And you can have somebody who has an agency that helps 1,500 families a month, and then you could have someone who helps an agency that has 700 families a month. And believe it or not, the agency that helps 700 families a month could actually be more profitable than the agent that helps, 1,500 families a month. So, Marco, before we get into all that stuff, man, I would really just love if you could share your background, man. What you did before you got into insurance, how you got into insurance, what about insurance was just, great for you. And you said, you know what, this is what I want to tie myself to as a career. And then we'll kind of talk about your transition here to Family First Life.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, Jamie, thank you for having me on your call, man. It's a blessing, and really that background, the best business ever. That's absolutely true. So what I used to do prior to insurance, man, is I graduated from a small city called McFarland, USA, McFarland, California, and I was going to university, just like everybody. If you want to be successful, society tells us to do what? To go to school, right? So I was going to university here in California, and I was working at a car dealership washing cars. So I had a bunch of jobs like in agriculture through growing up. I always worked in the summers. I would work after school. I would work a lot during school, after school, around sports. I always had a job because I always seen hard work as something that was necessary. And I remember, Jamie, getting out of high school, going to university. I was in school, and I don't have anything against school at all, but I was going to school for business, which I think when you don't know what you want to do, you kind of just go to school for business because it kind of sounds pretty cool, like, oh, I'm going to school for business, right? And I always knew that I wanted to do something big with myself. I just never knew how or what, and I didn't have anybody in my life that I could really see, like, hey, if I just mirror or follow these footsteps, I'll be able to get there. And I was going to school, working at a car dealership, washing cars, seeing the car salesman people make relatively good money. There was guys there. This guy, I remember he broke the record, and he made $16,000 in 1 month, Jamie. And at that time, for me, like 16 G's in 1 month. I'm 18 years old, dude. I'm making like $1,000 a month working at the dealership washing cars while I'm going to university. So I'm like, bro, I'm not even gonna make that for the year, and he made that in 1 month. Like we're in the same, like we're in the same box every single day. Like we work in the same place, except he's making sales and I'm just washing the cars. I'm like, I gotta get into car sales. So I tried to get into that, didn't work out. They said I was too young, so they didn't hire me. Then I try to get into real estate because I'm like, well, when you think of sales, the most sexy thing that it sounds sexy, right, is what? Real estate, right? You watch the TV shows, $1 million listing, you see all these things. The marketing around real estate, the clout I would say that it has is just something else that it attracted me. And I reached out to this person that I know, and they said the same thing. They said I was too young, that I'd probably quit, that it'd be hard to just stay in school. So I was like turned down from everything that I wanted to do. And then one day, so all my life, Jamie, I played soccer. I'm not the tallest person in the world, right? I like to say I'm not short. I'm just down to earth, right? But what ends up happening is one year, one of my best friends, well, back then was my best friend. He was a basketball player, and he says, guess what, dude? I bet I can make the soccer team and you can't make the basketball team. So we tried out for each other's sports. I end up making the basketball team. He doesn't make the soccer team. But the reason why I'm saying that is because the coach of that team in basketball was Tony Rojas. So that's how I came across Tony. And then Tony one day he gets involved in the practice company, and he's about to go on a convention. Literally, he's getting a haircut. Imagine he's getting a haircut today. Tomorrow, he's going to leave to a convention in Vegas. We're in California. And he tells my cousin, who's a barber, hey, do you know anybody that wants to be successful, that is, that thinks big, that wants to be somebody? And my cousin's like, well, I know my cousin's been trying to get into sales. He's young, but he's been wanting to get into sales. He passed him my number, and Tony took that number and had his broker give me a call. I show up that same Tuesday night for a meeting, an opportunity meeting, a business opportunity meeting. I show up, I see the industry. It made sense. And really, really, Jamie, what it was is, dude, like nobody else was gonna give me, nobody else up until that point had gave me a shot. And that's all I wanted was a shot. Like I don't need a guarantee, dude. I just need to just give me a shot. And whatever I do with it, I do with it. If it goes great, great. If it doesn't, like it didn't matter. And that's what it was. And I was right there, and I had school the next day. And this was on a Tuesday night. I had school Wednesday, I had school Thursday, and I had to work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I showed up. I paid $150 to join that company. And they were telling me about Vegas, how it was going to be this great convention. All these people were going to be there, these speakers. They were going to have Grant Cardone and all these different things. They were selling the event. And right off the bat, I was like, well, I have school tomorrow. I got to go to work on the weekend. Like, I started coming up with reasons why. And they were like, if you want to be successful, you're going to go. If you don't, then whatever. Like, they challenged me right off the bat. And I'm grateful that they did, because I ended up going, Jamie. I ended up going. I made up an excuse for school, and I made up some excuses for work. And they inconvenienced me for my own good, to go to the convention. And I went, literally. I bought my ticket that night. I woke up the next morning, and dude, I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't tell anyone. I was living with my parents at that time. I had just turned 19. I literally just got in my car and just drove to Vegas. Dude, I had no idea. Jamie, like, I almost forgot like it was life insurance. Like, I just knew it was like sales, dude. Like, I thought it was real estate, to be honest, like low key, because the guy that was giving the presentation was like, oh, I used to be a realtor. And I was like, all right, like this is where I need to be, right? But I just remember getting buying into something bigger than myself. I remember seeing people that were winning, succeeding, people that came from a worse background than my background, worse scenarios, that I was like, man, if that guy can crush it, no offense, but I know I can do it. And that was everything that I needed to see to build up my conviction, to feel that I can do something in this business. And I got started there, and I did what I did there at that company, became like the youngest broker there, and did all these things over there, and had a good time, good run. But that was what it was, man. I that's how I got involved in the business like that. I was inconvenienced to get into the business for my own good.
I love that, man. That's powerful. So one thing I want to laugh at is I don't think anybody wakes up when they grow up and they're like, I want to be an insurance agent when I grow up. Like there should be, some HGTV shows about insurance agents, because now knowing what we know, yes, the work doesn't look super sexy, but the results are sexy. So I think
Right.
that's just hilarious, because I wanted to be the laptop lifestyle entrepreneur, the guy who just kind of, built a 6-figure business in my shorts with a laptop, do it from anywhere kind of a thing. Cause that was the sexy thing to me. For you, you thought real estate or car sales was the sexy thing. And now, you see insurance and it's work, but at the same time, you got inconvenienced to go to a convention. So before we go into everything about your journey here with FFL and how you built a huge team, if there's people on here right now, I know for a fact, that are either tuning into, this is maybe their first training they've ever been to, they're somewhere in the pre-licensing process, they're in the contracting process, yet to sell their first policy, just sold their first policy, and they're like, I'm hearing about this Miami convention, and you've been to another company's convention, and then you've been to now the FFL convention. And obviously I'm not going to sit here and sell it because you're doing such a good job of it. But what would you say to somebody on here who's like, they're on the edge of, should I drop everything, inconvenience myself, to go down to Miami next month?
100% without a doubt. Like this is what I've realized, guys, in this industry, people, there's so much people, so many companies that charge for training. The type, Jamie, do you know the cost roughly around what it's going to cost? I can't forget how much millions of dollars this
9
convention is
million.
going to. $9 million for this convention, for the company, for Sean. For us, it's literally free. All we have to do is get there. Like, guys, the amount of information that you're going to be able to take, process, and then apply is going to make you, if you do the work, if you do it, which is under your control, it's going to make you 6 7 figures, whatever it is that you're here trying to do, trying to accomplish for you and your family. This is going to be that for you. It's going to be that driver. This is where you're going to get all that stuff that you need to get you to where you want to go. And I would honestly challenge you, like if you're on the fence of going it, and I'll even do this, and I'll do this, like, and this, like, and we're all one team, so I do feel like this is part of my team. But like, if you, I would say, get to convention, buy your tickets, plane tickets, hotels, whatever you got to do to get there. And if this convention isn't everything that I'm telling you it's going to be, I personally will refund you all your money if that's really what's holding you back. Like, if you're on Jamie's team right now on this call, if you're on the fence of it and it's not everything that we're telling you it's going to be, then I will pay personally. Send me a screenshot of what you paid, and I'll give it back to you, because it's that good, guys. Like, what I'm trying to get to you is, like, dude, don't rob your future over a short-term present adversity. Don't do that, because that's the worst thing, right? You can never go back and change it. And so that's really where I'm at with it, guys. Don't ever rob your future for a short-term inconvenience. Like, it's, whether you got to call in or use a sick day, even if you may get fired. Like, I mean, I'm not over here telling people to quit the job, but what I'm trying to get at is this, guys. Like, dude, there's a reason why you're on this call. There's a reason why you're in this company. There's a reason why you're in a position to go to a convention that could potentially not just change your life, but all these other people around you. Because, guys, just imagine this. What if you end up going to this convention and then you go out there and you're like, man, you know what? I can really do this. And then you go on and become this big person in the company that attracts a bunch of clients with insurance that wouldn't have had it if it wasn't for that decision that you made to go. And then a bunch of agents go out there and become successful for them and their families, and they change their family's legacy forever, all because you decided that it was worth it to inconvenience yourself to get to that convention. So it's bigger than yourself, I would say. And if it ain't everything that I'm telling you it is, I'll refund you your money. Like, I'll do it.
Hey,
So
we'll take you up on that for sure. So this is
let's
recorded.
do
So
it.
Marco's going to refund everybody if it's not what you think it is. But guys, here's the deal: is take that offer off the table. You know, people ask, what's it cost versus what is it worth? You know, it costs you a couple $100 for a plane ticket. You know, you go in 3-4 people in a hotel room, couple $100, and now you got food, Ubers, etc. You're there for a couple days, and someone goes, okay, that's $1,500. I don't got that, or that's my last money. What's it worth? So you spend that last money, you eat PB&Js at the convention because that's all you can afford, and you learn how to help 400 families next year. Like, what's the ROI on that? You know, it's unlimited, you know? So, I mean, Marco, I'm sure you could probably, you know, tell countless stories of people on your team who showed up with their last dollar, because that was you at your other company, who showed up to the FFL convention last year, that are doing exponentially better this year than they were doing last year, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like almost not everyone, but I would say the majority of the people that are big in the business, they kind of have that story where it was a defining moment that they had to make a decision of, like, dude, I'm gonna go or I'm not, and are you all in or are you not? And that decision is kind of like what puts people over the hump, and it leads to just exponential growth. And more than the majority of people who are killing it and have that success have that convention story of, like, I was doing all right, or I was doing good, or I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I went to convention and then I blew up. Something clicked, right? And every single time, guys, every meeting you attend, every phone call you get on, every like event or video you watch, every little thing, all it's doing, guys, is the way I like to think of it is we're just adjusting the temperature in our brain, and we're looking for the right whatever you call it, Fahrenheit, that's gonna make things click, right? And once it clicks, you can't even nobody can stop you because you're just gonna go. You're gonna be right where you need to be. So maybe you are, maybe a lot of you guys are already 6 7 figure earners plus, but maybe what you don't know is that you're operating on the wrong Fahrenheit, and the right event can make you hear the right things in the right way that'll make you like just blow up. So that's what I would say.
I love it, man. I've never heard it put that way. You know, the mind once expanded can't go back. You come to an event like this, mind gets expanded. It's hard to look at things the same way. So that's convention, guys. You know, if you're not there, that's on you. We hope to see you there. Now, Marco, I'd love to hear why you chose FFL. And I really want to dig into this because, guys, we're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about agency building. You have to know why somebody who was successful somewhere else wanted to come here, so you can know how to recruit someone like Marco. That's what you have to understand. Marco was already doing, well in the grand scheme of things at the other company. So how do you expect to recruit the car sales guy who's already doing well? How do you expect to recruit the guy who's in real estate, solar, who is an engineer, who's already doing well, if you don't know what are the things that attract people like Marco to come and work for a company like this? Because there's plenty of people who they're on their last dollar and they're looking for a job. They're looking to save their mortgage. Yes, we welcome everybody. But from a recruiting perspective, like, how do you recruit top tier talent? You have to know, what are the things that attract those people and touch on them with them. So Marco, for you, like, what were the things about FFL that were attractive to you? Obviously you can compare like insurance company to insurance company, but just from like a general opportunity standpoint, anybody in any industry, like, why would they want to come and work with us?
Well, to be honest, that's a great question, Jamie, because at the other company, I remember I was close to like $200,000 of income, right? And I don't know if I should be saying that. Well, I think, yeah, it's the other company, right? I was close to 200 grand in income. And I was like, I had never made that type of money. I was 22 years old and I was doing all right. Like I was doing better than almost everybody I knew. But at the same time, it was like, if you notice to what I'm saying, it's I was good. I was doing all right. My agents weren't doing that well. I would look at my income. I remember there was a month where I went crazy. I wrote like, which is not even crazy here, but over there it was like crazy. It was like a record. I wrote like 83 grand in a month, right? And dude, I wrote 83. I helped 83 families in a month. And well, it's the other company, right? I wrote 83 grand in a month and I netted like 52 of that after my commission contract or whatever. And I thought it was great, right? Like it was like, damn, I made 52 G's this month. And the number two person was like, their income was like 7 grand. And I was like, why is there such a drastic difference? Like these people are working their butts off. They're hustling hard. They're putting in the work. I see them every single day in this office, morning to night, late at night, like, and it's just not paying off. Like what's going on? And I just knew, dude, like it felt empty. I felt empty, Jamie. Like, dude, this has to be bigger than me. Like this can't just be about me. And I felt like a lot of people that make a good income, it's just about them and they're taken care of. And I felt like my mission was bigger. I felt like I had a duty to help out other people, to really empower, because I believe in the whole recruiting and building an agency and all that. I do believe in that 100%. But how are you really helping people if everybody in your agency is broke? Like that doesn't really make any sense to me. And so I realized that. And then I realized that in Family First Life, the newest person had an opportunity to go be successful right away without having to go through all these crazy different loopholes and jump through walls and do all these things to get to even have a chance at succeeding. The newest person has a chance to succeed at selling and building an agency from day one here at Family First Life. And so I just knew, Jamie, I'm like, dude, like, if I can do this here, how much more people that I impact, how much more profitable and successful will our people be if we go over there, right? And that's what I looked at, Jamie. That was really it. Like, I wanted to have something more than just myself. I didn't want to be the guy that I go out to eat with my people and I'm the only one that can afford to be there. And I look at everybody else and I'll be like, hey, let's go eat here. And everybody's kind of like, damn, well, I can't go because I don't have money. And it was like that. It was like that, Jamie. And I didn't like that. That made me feel terrible inside. And I felt like a fake, like a fraud, dude, there's gotta be something better than this. Like there has to be more. And so I would ask if you were trying to recruit someone like that, everything I do, when I ask them is like, is everything just about yourself? Or do you think it would be a much better thing if you worried about others and help others become just as successful, or if not more successful than you? And usually most people want that, but they just don't know that that's even possible, right? Most people think it's, oh, I'm just out here for myself, like survival mode. But in reality, dude, this platform allows you to impact people so big, so fast, in an equal way, where you don't have to come from the perfect background. You don't have to be born on the right side of the tracks. Like you don't have to know all these, you don't have to have a crazy network. Like if you do, that's great. But if you don't, you can still crush it and kill it here. And that's what I really loved about this business, bro. That was it.
Dude, we can obviously, hear your passion for insurance and your passion for FFL. Now, obviously, if you don't tell anybody and you don't openly show your passion, nobody's ever gonna join your agency. Nobody's ever gonna find out about what you're doing. You're very vocal on social media. We were laughing when we were together the other week about kind of how you walk the line of, probably what you can and can't say, which is good. That's the perfect line to walk. And it's a little edgy, and that's what gets people to watch your stories. That's what gets people to listen. So there's people out there that are afraid to tell anybody they're even selling insurance. And that can be for a couple of different reasons. Can be because they haven't found success yet, or at least success in their eyes to where they feel like they can tell their market. But then you have all these success stories, behind FFL that can obviously be leveraged. So what's your advice to somebody who they want to start building an agency, but they haven't yet opened their mouth to tell anybody really that they're even selling insurance? Or if they are selling, they're telling people they're not doing it in like a passionate, edgy way. And this is something I want to get better at. Sean straight up told me, Jamie, you got to be a little bit more edgy and you'll attract more people into this business. It's not just about, the results that you get and the results you help other people get. You got to be a little bit edgy. So that's something I admire about you, is just how vocal you are about why FFL and why everybody should be working here. So what would you say to somebody who has not yet started telling their friends and their family and their social media about FFL, and how could they start?
Number one, Jamie, that's a good question. I would say you definitely want to have solid conviction. So I think if you have your conviction levels really high and you really truly believe about where the company is going, where you're going with the company, guys, the company is going places. And what that means is that you fit into that. You can also go places if the company, there's a lot of room for growth, which means there's room for growth for you. And when you buy in, so you first need to sell yourself fully, and you fully need to have the conviction that the dream can become a reality for you. And then once you believe that really in your heart, then I think it makes it easy to promote it. It's almost like you want to tell everybody because you're like, dude, this is so amazing. Like, look at this. And even if you may not have the results yet, because in the beginning, we all don't, like, whether it's like you're not licensed yet and you can't get paid yet, whether it's maybe you haven't figured out exactly you're not hitting your strides yet, let's just say, whatever it may be, let's just say you're not where you want to be. And by the way, we never will be where we want to be. It's always, the goalpost always moves. We always want to improve something, a different area of life or whatever, different area in business. So I would say don't wait for the perfect time, because the time is never perfect. The time is always right now. That's what I would say. And then, dude, you just gotta believe it, like really in your heart, and sell people on where you're going. Like talk about where you're going. What are you gonna do? Like together, like we're gonna build a big agency. We're gonna do this. We're gonna change the world. We're gonna improve. We're gonna like just talk about what's going to happen. And when you're really convicted and you really believe it, like people are attracted to that. People want to be a part of that. Like it's like if somebody's fired up and excited about absolutely nothing to go do something, but they sound super excited to go do it, like, dude, I want to do it just because they're fired up and pumped up. You know what I mean? And versus like if there was two boats, one was going absolutely nowhere, but they made it seem like it'd be the best ride in the world, and then the other one was like they were going somewhere, but it seemed like the most boring, unexcited. I'm gonna hate my life, but if I go there, I would choose the boring, the fun one that's going nowhere, simply for the conviction and how fired up and the transfer of confidence that those people would give you. And the thing is, the thing about this business is, you actually, there is a promised land. There is something that there is like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Like there is light at the end of the tunnel. And because of that, sometimes we're like, well, I don't gotta be excited. I don't gotta be fired up. You should already want to be like this. And although there is some truth in that, the people that are the most excited, most fired up, most just ready to go to war, right? The team with the best attitude, that's the team that people want to be a part of. So get like that, get jacked up, get fired up, get pumped up, and tell everybody, don't be afraid of what other people think. Because remember this, when you buy into people's opinion, you buy into their lifestyle. And if you wouldn't trade lives with them, their opinion shouldn't even matter to you. I'm not saying don't listen to people, but you don't have to internalize everything everybody tells you.
It's good, man. That's very, very good. Okay, so one last why question, and then we're going to get into some how, because I think that's what people are waiting for. And again, guys, we are going to do some Q&A here at the end, so definitely make sure you toss some questions into the chat. But when we talk about, kind of the progression of, this, you come in and you start selling insurance, and you can make an incredible living just selling insurance. We have people on this call who will help over 800 families this year. And that's incredible. You can do amazing. But if you don't want to sell insurance for the rest of your life until, you're 80 years old, eventually, you might want to start building an agency. No one forces you to do that here. It's never required. I know that at other companies, other IMOs, other sales opportunities, they force you to make a list of your friends and family and bring them into meetings and the whole deal, or you can't continue to be a part of it. That's not us. But we encourage you to recruit, because we understand that you can create some leveraged income where now it's not just you. It's like the whole adage of, what would you rather have, 100% of your own effort or 1% of 100 people's effort? And then those 100 people also having a real opportunity to win. Okay. So just talk about the importance of like buying into like the selling first, but then also like, why would I want to build an agency? Why would I want to recruit? Like, what does that look like for me? And like, why would I even want to create leverage?
Right, 100%. That's a great question too, Jamie, because I mean, all your questions are great, but and what you said is super important. You first, the best way to validate that anything works is by you getting a result in it. But that doesn't mean you have to wait to get the result to be able to start building an agency. You can start recruiting and building a team and learning how to play the game as you go with the team. For example, if we have a football team, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to start a football team. Well, you need well, I don't even know how much players you need I know soccer, you need 11 people, right?
Yeah.
So you
11
need
people.
11 players,
11 people.
whatever amount of people that you need to win a football game, right? It is 11. All right, legit. All right. Is it 11 or not? I don't know what
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
11.
It really? All right, cool. So let's just say you need 11 people. Well, does that mean are you going to try to play against other players by yourself, then win a championship, and then try to recruit to win a football team to then win a championship? It doesn't work that way. You need to come up with this idea and be like, hey, I think we should all try to win this championship. Let's build a team and let's learn this thing together, figure out the ups and downs together, and then we can get good with time, practice, trial and error, and then we can win a championship. And I think if you have that idea, that philosophy, and that mindset, it'll serve you really, really well. But it is important that the people that you're talking to about getting involved in the business with you, they also know that you're in the trenches there with them, whether it's you're selling, you're helping them in some shape or form. You're there helping them along the way to get them to where they want to be. That's very important. But why is it important to build an agency? Because guys, like, if you know the cash flow quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki, it talks about that there's four different ways to earn income. There's as an employee, where you trade time for money. Someone tells you what time to come in, what time to leave, when you can or can't take a break, when you can or can't take vacation, whether or not you can pick up your kids from school or not. They basically control your time. And if someone controls your time and you're getting paid by the hour, which is time, they control your income. And guys, money isn't everything, but it sure determines the zip code you live in, the area you live in, the state you live in, the kind of food you get to eat, the kind of things that you get to provide for your family, the safety for your family, and all those different things. Money is nothing but a resource. So the more resources you have, the better foundation for your family you're going to be able to give them. So that's why I refer back to like money and stuff. Then there's a self-employed quadrant where you're your own boss, but you're still trading time for money. And there's a lot of self-employed people out there in the world. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being any of them at all. It's just there's a difference and there's more out there than one. And it's okay for you to want more than what the normal society standard is. And I want you guys to know that. Self-employed people trade time for money as well, but on their time, on their clock, on their say, on their watch. The doctor works the hours that he wants to work. Well, if he wants to make a lot of money, he works a lot of hours. And that's for anybody who has their own practice, right? Well, as a bit and in this business, as a producer, you can go out there and write, $1 million a year, and that's great. That's phenomenal. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Knock yourself out. It's possible here. Absolutely. Especially, and there's no better company to do it with than Family First Life, by the way. However, if you go look at the cash flow quadrant, the cash flow quadrant, the third quadrant is business owner. And that's where you have not just, like Jamie said, it's not just you and your efforts that make money. And here you're not solving for a wage, you're solving for profits, you're solving for like spread, you're solving for margins. And in this business, we have a structure where we can provide people with a platform, give them the opportunity to go make as much money as they want, build their own agency if they wanted to as well. And at the same time, we have the opportunity to build a huge business and be able to, hey, let's say something comes up, whether it's a family emergency or you want to take a vacation or you want to do something calls for you to not be in the office that given day, that given week. Well, because you build a business and you work from your phone anywhere that you have Wi-Fi or internet, that gives you that freedom to be able to do things with your family or just really live the life that you wanted to, that you're capable of living and being able to achieve so much more. And guys, by the way, another reason why you should sell out to recruiting and building an agency, because if you're selling, yes, you're changing people's lives and you're helping them out 100%. But you can sell $1 million of insurance a year. But if you had 1,000 agents, how much millions of dollars, billions of dollars of insurance could you then sell? With an agency, with a bigger army, you can conquer a lot more. Can you still hear me, Jamie?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yeah. With an with an army of people, you can accomplish a lot more than just yourself. And for that reason only, like that's why you should sell out on building an agency. And dude, like the happiness and fulfillment that you get from seeing other people win, it's different level. Like, yeah, it's cool when you make money, but when you see someone else make money and the things that they do for their family and you see their lives change, and just knowing that you had a little help or a little part in that, that feels good. That feels good.
I love it, man. I love it. Sell out for building an agency, and with an army, we can go so much further. That's powerful, man. Let's talk a little bit more practical. Let's talk about the how. Let's talk about actually, some things that you're doing to run your business, some direction that you're giving your agents when it comes to, actually, building a team. Like, where did you start with recruiting? Obviously, it made sense. Okay, I'm going to go and recruit the people from my old company because we got a better opportunity over here. Now, those days are,
Mhm.
they're not over, but, obviously, they're slower than the first day. How are you
Right.
helping new agents recruit today? Where are you having them start? Are they starting on social media? Are they making a list? Are they going and, putting ads on, Craigslist, running Facebook ads? Like, what are you doing? What are you encouraging new agents to do? And how are you guys growing right now?
The number one, dude, the number one thing that I realize that's the most powerful today is social media, Jamie. So what we do is I have my agents and myself, really it's what I do, and then my agents do the same thing. We target like other companies, we target sales professionals, we go on their hashtags. We love to go hashtag this company, hashtag that company, and I teach them, follow them, like their stuff, become their friend, be a fan of them, show love to them. Because, dude, it's hard to be mean to somebody that likes you. It's hard to be mean to someone that's being a fan of you. Like, it's hard to be like, F off, dude. Like, if I tell you, great job, you're crushing it, or man, that's what's up, you're awesome, it's hard for them to not be the same way. If I start following you and you start posting pictures and I start liking them every time you post something, you're more inclined to do the same towards me, right? Human beings, we kind of reciprocate behavior. When someone likes us, we kind of reciprocate that feeling towards them. It's just natural. So I teach our guys to do that, and that really helps out a lot. That's like something that we do a
Yeah.
lot of. And of course, Jamie, like we do have like people that do cold marketing and stuff like that. And you'll hear stories of like, oh, this person came from there and this team came from there. But the biggest success is always warm market. And the list that we have people make is we'll do it like this. Like I tell people, like, you ever heard of the chicken list, Jamie? The
Oh
chicken
yeah.
list?
I still got a fat chicken list on my phone for whatever reason. As successful as we've been, people I'm still afraid to recruit.
Dude, that's like what I try to tell people. Like, I tell people, all right, who do you know that wants to be successful? Who do you know that's a hard worker? Who do you know that thinks big? Who do you know that in high school would always say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that? Like, who are those people? What are they doing now? Who do you know that's in sales? Who do you know that's in real estate? Who do you know that does this? Who do you know that does that? And like works in this industry? Who do you know that works in that industry? Who do you know that's married with kids and you think they would want more? Like, I ask questions like that, so then they come up with, they put like a face and a number to the description of what I want, because I want to recruit those kind of people, because I know that those kind of people are more than likely to take this business serious. And that's how I game plan with our agents. And that's really all we do, dude. Just a lot of that. And we were pretty loud, mode a lot. And everybody does it their own way. You don't have to do it exactly like me. You can do it your own way, right? Like if you think I'm a little bit too extra, then that's cool. Do it your own way. Everybody does it their own way, and that's what really works. Because what I can say is be you, whatever you are, like truly be that. Don't worry about what other people think. If you are a little like, if you're funny, be funny. If you're aggressive, be aggressive. Whoever you are, be that. Because what I know is that when you're you, people feel it. And when you're trying to be something that you're not, people also feel it. And nobody wants to buy into somebody like that's pretending to be somebody. They want to buy into who you really are. But sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't show who they really are because they think they're either not good enough, or that maybe they're going to be judged, whatever. But I would say be you, like unapologetically be you, but just don't cross the line either.
Yeah. Don't you walk the line, don't cross the line.
Walk the line. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So a couple things I want to just touch on. So you mentioned you get on social media, you find the type of person that you want to recruit. Obviously, you're finding them in different ways through, hashtags. It's like where do the solar professionals hang out? Where do the pest control guys hang out? Like they're on Instagram, they're on Instagram, they're on LinkedIn. You can check these hashtags. You find, if you were trying to recruit an FFL agent, all you need to do is just go hashtag BBE, best business ever. And you're going to find hundreds, if not thousands of family first life agents. Are you willing to do some research to find out who those people are? And are you willing to now build a relationship on social media with them? Now, I have been good at this in the past and also have been notoriously lazy at doing this, but also have staff now that's starting to help me with this. But it's the interacting with people. I think that's a big deal. You talked about being their fan. And I kind of joked with you when we were in Miami, last week, is you kind of have to flirt with these people a little bit. Like anybody on here who's ever like, I'm married with kids, but you go back in the day and you're trying to flirt with someone on social media, you go on Instagram, the typical move was, I'm gonna like 3 of her photos. And if she likes 3 of my photos back, we can jump into the direct messages and we can have a conversation. So I look at it as, if I don't do that and I don't get that reciprocation, does it make sense for me to jump in their DMs and send them a copy paste message about how great FFL is and why they should stop what they're doing and join us here? No. I look back to, Nina, Nina Damjanovic, she's an integrity partner. She recruited a guy named Josh Williams, 2 of the fastest growing agencies in the entire company. Josh was over at another company where Nina came from. He didn't really know who she was, but Nina, she just kind of, she was his fan. She liked his stuff. She, commented good job. And then one time, she made a joke about how she put like a fire emoji on his Instagram story for some cologne. It's just like, you're their fan, you're their friend, you are giving them genuine compliments. And I think that's important, to genuinely like their stuff and compliment them, not fake stuff, not just doing it to do it, and not also doing it on 1,000 people. Like, why would you do that when you could pick, 25 people that you actually want to recruit, that you actually want to build a relationship with, and just be their fan, and they're going to be your fan. And now, if you're doing that, they're going to look at your profile. And now, what are you putting out on your profile? What are you putting out on your story? What are you posting about on your timeline? Are you talking about FFL, or is it just pictures of your family? Nothing wrong with pictures of your family. They should be in there. I love talking about my family. They're on my story almost every day. But are you talking about the business or not? Are you talking about other things as well? And so it's like the goal is to get them to interact with you. It's attraction marketing. And that's what Marco's so good at. And same with, Nina and Hayden and so many of these other groups, is interacting with them to bring them to your page where you're kind of posting targeted messages at the type of person that you're trying to recruit. So I imagine all day, Marco's sitting on social media, or his staff is, and his team, they're going through these hashtags to find other licensed agents that were in a situation similar to his. And then you go look at Marco's story, and he's walking the line right on his story, real edgy, talking about all the pain points of those people that they're going through in their current career. So if it's insurance, he's talking about 30% comps and recruiting friends and family and no leads and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, who are you trying to recruit? Are you a single mom trying to recruit other single moms? Like, the pain points you should be talking about are, being able to work on your own time, being able to work while your kid naps. Like, what are those things? If you're somebody who does hard labor, you should be talking about how you've been killing yourself doing hard labor, and then you just went out and you made $1,000 in an hour doing this. Best business ever. Like, who are you trying to talk to? For me, I'm the guy who jumped from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, trying to find my deal. So I'm looking for other people who also jump from opportunity to opportunity, looking for their thing. So I'm speaking that language, hoping to attract myself, hoping to attract other people that were just like me. So like he said, be yourself. If you're yourself, you're going to attract other people like yourself, which I think is really cool. So, doing social media, you got to start somewhere. We're not going to give you guys a social media clinic today because we really don't have time for that. But I think there's a lot of powerful stuff that I can take from that. And then list making. I mean, I got a chicken list. Grady told me to make my chicken list day one. I got people who are high up selling mortgages, real estate, solar, software companies, the whole deal. People I still, for whatever reason, have been afraid to reach out to. As many families as we've helped, people I'm still afraid to reach out to, people that, the conversation should honestly be, hey, you're crushing it over there. If you put in the exact same amount of effort that you're putting in over there, over here, you could 10x your income. Like, that should be the conversation. And it takes just being bold. And like, what's the worst thing that happens? And I'm preaching to myself right now. The worst thing that happens is they say, no, not for me, but you keep that relationship alive and they keep watching. And then maybe one day that seed, it grows into something. And then they finally say, you know what, I'm ready to make a move. And it's not for everybody.
Jamie, you want to know something what's a line that I used that works really well?
Yes, please give us any lines. We want practical things that people can use.
So I say things like, hey, bro, our company's trying to, or girl, whatever. Hey, our company's trying to get to $1 billion. And I know you're really good. And I know you're great, dude. I think you would really help us get to that goal. Like, are you open to checking out and hearing out how we could potentially do that? That way I make them feel like they're, you know what I mean? They're like, dude, who's gonna not want to meet with you after you just gave them that kind of compliment? They're gonna be like, oh, really? You think that highly of me? And then you guys meet up, you show them how pay works, everything. Dude, I've recruited people like just from that line right there, like car sales guys, people that are kind of like were on my chicken list, or people that you think, oh, I don't need to reach out to them because they're already doing good. That's how I've been able to recruit people like that over here that are now like really good in the business,
Yeah,
simply from saying something, making it bigger than them, and then them being part of that goal and closing the gap of where we're trying to go to. So
I love that. And
that,
I've
that's
heard it said a couple different ways. Like, hey man, I know that you're crushing it right now. I love watching you. You're absolutely doing amazing. Proud to be, watching you and seeing what you're doing. And, hey, we're growing quick and you're somebody that I think could help us get there. Are you recruitable? I think that's another question that can be asked. Are you even recruitable? Because there's people who are at other sales opportunities. No, I'm not recruitable. Okay, all good, man. All good. Let's keep the relationship alive. I'm cheering for you. I hope you continue to crush it this year, Matt. Girl, whatever it is. But are you recruitable? I think that's a question that we could all ask more people who are in high level positions. And you might be surprised. I know for me, jumping from opportunity to opportunity on social media for years, it looked like I was doing great. And people stopped asking me if I was recruitable. And I wish that somebody would have asked me a couple of years earlier if I was recruitable, because I would have said yes. And I would have been here in a heartbeat had the right person told me about it a little bit sooner at the right time in my life. But on social media, I looked like I was living the dream, but I was actually living the nightmare. So you might be surprised, guys, some people out there that you go to ask if they're recruitable that are absolutely recruitable. Guys, let's throw some questions in the chat for anybody who wants to, get some last minute knowledge here out of Marco before we go. Marco, you got an office. Where is it at in the country?
Bakersfield, California.
Okay, dude, how is that office? How's the team camaraderie, the culture? What do you guys do to keep that office exciting?
Dude, this office is it's great. So we're blessed to have a great office space. Um, the culture is, and it hasn't always been this way, Jamie, but I feel like over the year, last 6, uh, is there a single video or picture? Hold on. Is there a single video or picture you send to recruits? Yes, there is. And I'll get to that right now. But the office culture, dude, I think what started to happen is a lot of people have their own individual offices within the office. And a lot of people started to just go in their office and do their own thing. And then other agents who were not as high level of managers or producers were out in the main area, in the main common area where all the desks are dialing. But because they didn't have that, like, quote unquote heavy hitters weren't out there with them, I feel like they would give up easier. They wouldn't get as many appointments, or it was easier for them to fold because technically it's like, you know what I mean, like the parents aren't even there, like kids with parents that aren't there, like they're not going to do their homework, you know what I mean? But if the parent is right there, the kid's going to do his homework, and they're going to do it enthusiastically because probably the parent's going to help him do it, right? So when we started to come out and everybody started to be in the main area and work in the main area, I think that was huge. That really helped out. And now, like, you can just tell by the amount of people that show up to the office, how early everybody shows up to the office. All those little things are huge that I can tell that just changed from us being with the agents, literally.
That's good, man. No, I've seen that happen in countless offices. I just got my first office here in Greenville. That's something that we've been trying to do. When I got in here, it was just literally full of cubicles. And I was like, we got to take all these cubicles down. We need to have a big area with desks so everyone can be in the same room. And, myself and, Zach Lawfuls run this office. We try as much as we can to get out in the main area with everybody. And it's important, man. It's absolutely important. Same thing happened at the Charlotte office here in North Carolina. They did the exact same thing. And, their whole team 10x basically, and their agents who were helping 5 families a week started helping 10 and 15 families a week when they saw other people were around that were helping them, correcting them. So that's good. Let's go back to Sam's question. Is there a video or a picture or something that you send to somebody to like spark their interest, or after you've had that conversation, are you recruitable? They say yes. What's next?
Every single time, and we still do this, Jamie. It's still the Rogue IMO, dude. It's still the Rogue IMO. Like, we didn't switch that one up at all. Like, it's been that way since I came in. I don't know if that was when it was created, but it's been 2 years now. Like, since I came in, that's what we've used. We've never changed it, and it just works, bro. And because it's a filter. It's like, if you can't watch this video, then what are the chances that you're even gonna study the material? Why am I going to put you in class? Why am I going to book your exam? Why am I going to do all of that if you can't even watch this little video? If you don't take your future serious enough to be able to watch a video, then at least right now in this moment, it doesn't make sense for us to work with each other. Does that make sense? And that's kind of like literally the only thing it is. Or if if they don't watch the video and we don't have them watch the video because they're like local and we can meet with them, I'd rather meet with them, or I'd rather invite them to a BOM if they're local. I'd rather do that. Me personally, I think it's more powerful to invite them personally, but I also know it probably could be more scalable if you have people sending videos out, because there's only meetings once a week and a video can be watched as many times over throughout the day anywhere in the country or in the world, really. But you know
It's good. Okay, Marco, I'm going to let you handle this next question. So, should I send them a picture of my license to convince leads and potential agents, since I have no wealth to flash? And I don't think that anything we're doing is to flash wealth by any means, because there's so many of us that came from nothing and are doing well. But what do you, somebody who does not have results, how can they share this opportunity with somebody in a way that's not flashing wealth? Because that's nobody's intention here, but it is to show opportunity.
what I would say is this is, even when it all comes back to, like, people want to know where you're going. If the question that people have is this, okay, look at people, like, if they have this sign on their forehead that says, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Everybody's wearing a t-shirt that says, what's in it for me? So the question becomes, well, what's in it for them? If they come to work with you, what's in it for them? Do they know that? Does your speech, does your spill, does your pitch, does everything you're telling them answer that question? If they do all the things that you want them to do, if they come into business with you, if they work with you, what's it going to be like for them? What's the light at the end of the tunnel look like for them? You have to be able to paint that picture. Now, as you start to, you know, gain success and achieve things in your life, you're going to start to naturally, if you don't have your dream home, or you'll move to one, you'll get more cars, you'll have to use money for tax write-offs, and you'll start to gain some stuff. So that does help when you get there, but you don't achieve all those things by having them first. You have to get to a certain level, and then you gain some stuff, and then that's the stuff helps you. But you don't need the stuff to get you to any level that's significant for you don't need the stuff to make a 7-figure income and build a 7-figure business. I want you guys to know that. But you got to get good at teaching people and transferring the conviction and painting the picture of what life can be like for them. And you just do that by asking questions. Like, for example, I would ask people, like, are you where you want to be right now? 5 years ago, did you think you'd be here today? If you do you want the next 5 to look like the last 5? If you stay where you're at, are you going to be able to get to the goals and dreams you told me about? Doesn't it make sense for us to make some changes? After I explain them everything, they're going to be like, don't you see how with this business, you'll be able to get X, Y, and Z like you told me to. Wouldn't it make sense for us to maybe do some short-term sacrificing to get these long-term results that we want in our life? Like questions like that are gonna be what sells people, because you're painting the picture. It's, they call it selling the dream, right? So even if you don't have it in front of you, and you don't let's just say having wealth in front of you, you can still sell it because you're selling them on the idea that they can have it. And then if they're like, well, why don't you have it? It's like, dude, I'm on my way. I'm on track to it. This is what I've been doing. Let me tell you about this person, and this couple built their agency to this level, and they've got to deal with integrity. They did this. You can tell them all these different things. And you have to be able to, leverage other people. You see, sometimes we think of our, when we're trying to recruit, we think about where we're at and how our results have been. But in reality, dude, it's like this platform can have much better results and give people more success than what it's given us in the same time frame. We don't know that. And you have to keep that in mind. Like, maybe that person that you want to recruit can come in and kill it and pass you up. Dude, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing, because hey, if my friends come to FFL and do better than me, I'd be the happiest person. I'd be their biggest fan. I would absolutely love that.
Absolutely. And I think it's also important, guys, like you don't have to leverage giant results. Like, you have somebody, who's been in this business for a couple of years and maybe they have some massive results. They've sold thousands of policies. They've got hundreds of agents, but like talk about the person who was working 90 hours a week, roofing in the hot sunlight. And now that person doesn't have to do that anymore. Or the person who says, you know what, my wife and I, we were both working full-time jobs. We wanted nothing more than to start a family. And, me being able to replace her income, not anything crazy. We're not talking millions of dollars, but maybe I was able to add an extra $50,000 a year to our income to be able to bring my wife home so she could fulfill her dream, which was starting a family. And there's so much more that can be talked about than just, what's the result of being able to win some time back? What's the result of being able to, just be happier and more fulfilled in what you're doing? Like for me, I used to be stuck in an office all day long, not even like a cool office like I'm in now. I was in my home office in my spare bedroom, just, kind of, trying to make it, honestly, kind of depressed, not really loving what I was doing. And then I got a chance to go meet clients in the home. I talk to people about that all the time. Like that, like saved me. Like I got fulfillment getting out there and meeting with hundreds of families. And that was important for me because there's no way that I could have continued to do what I was previously doing before this. So there's emotional results, there's family results, there's financial results, other things that can be leveraged. So last thing, Marco, and we'll get you off of here, man. We got a question, just a little bit more on social media. Like, are you more direct in the types of posts that you're making on social media? Is it more like a, hit me up if you're interested kind of a deal? Or is it more like an ambiguous, let me get you interested, and then every now and then, it's a call to action? There's this book by a guy named Gary Vee called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And it's like the jab, jab, jab is like the little bits of content, and the right hook is the knockout shots, the ask. So like, are you more like, let me give you some free info and then let me ask you? Or are you just kind of
A
constantly like,
hundred
going my
percent,
business?
dude. It's 100%. It's 100% value, 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 value. Like, I'm training you to become a potential recruit without you even knowing. If you're following me, I'm training your brain to think like, damn, I want to work with this person. I want more of this. That's what I'm doing. So it's 100% jab, 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 jab. And then not every now and then, but like every so often, it's like, okay, we're hiring here at FFL Supreme. Reach out, license or non-licensed, we're hiring. Like, but it's not every single post isn't we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring. Because then, in my opinion, it waters down what I'm doing. Does that make sense? And I may be wrong. That may be wrong, but that's what I'm doing, and that's what works for me. And I like it like that. I feel like it's like, the way I see it is, how would I recruit myself? That's the way I always look at it. How would I recruit myself? And that's really what it is, like stuff like that.
Powerful, man. Any last piece of advice for anybody who's just, they want to make 2023 better than 2022?
Dude, all I would say is go work on you. Go become the best version of your. I would say this: work on you, become the best version of yourself. Because if you become the best version of yourself in all areas, write down on a piece of paper who you are right now and what does your dream version of you look like. In all areas of your life. That can be physically, spiritually, mentally, and your relationship with your spouse, as a parent, as a child, to like as a son or daughter, in all areas of your, and as a business person, in all areas of your life, write down exactly the best version, what they do, what they walk like, what are their habits like, and work every single day to become that person. Because if you become the best version of you, you will inspire so many people to go out there and become the best version of them. And maybe one of those people will have such an impact on the world and change the world. And if you never sold out on becoming the best you, they won't sell out on becoming the best version of them. So your inspiration has such a trickle effect, and we don't even know it. So go out there and become the best version of you, not for you, but for everybody else and for what it can be for the whole world. So I would say that.
Thank you so much, Marco. We appreciate you, man. We're going to see you at convention. Everybody have an amazing night. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace out, guys. Let's go help.
Alrighty, man. Take care. Thank you, bro.